Alert! Carney's new chief of staff sparks uproar. Smith and Ford seal bold deal that rattles Ottawa. In a move that has stirred significant political discourse, Prime Minister Mark Carney's appointment of Marco Mendicino as chief of staff has reignited debates about leadership and accountability in Canadian politics. Mendicino, previously removed from cabinet due to controversies surrounding the transfer of a high-profile inmate, now returns to a pivotal role in Carney's administration. This decision has drawn sharp criticism from opposition leaders, particularly Conservative Leader Pierre Poilievre, who questions the implications for transparency and public trust. The appointment has not only raised eyebrows, but has also become a focal point for discussions about the ethical standards expected from government officials. Carney, known for his technocratic expertise and previous roles as Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, assumed the Liberal Party leadership following Justin Trudeau's resignation. His ascent to the premiership was marked by promises to restore public confidence and implement data-driven policies aimed at economic stability. However, the reinstatement of Mendicino has raised concerns about the consistency of these commitments, especially given the public's demand for ethical leadership. Critics argue that bringing back a figure associated with controversy undermines Carney's stated goals of transparency and accountability. Simultaneously, a significant development has emerged on the provincial front. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith and Ontario Premier Doug Ford have formed a strategic alliance aimed at enhancing energy infrastructure and streamlining interprovincial trade. This partnership challenges federal regulations perceived as overreaching and underscores a growing trend of provinces asserting greater autonomy in response to federal policies. The Smith-Ford alliance reflects a broader sentiment among certain provinces seeking to reclaim control over areas traditionally managed by the federal government, thereby complicating Carney's governance strategy. Their joint efforts aim to bolster regional economies and address local concerns more effectively, potentially setting a precedent for other provinces to follow suit. This development presents a complex challenge for Carney's administration, which must navigate the balance between national cohesion and regional autonomy. As provinces like Alberta and Ontario push back against federal oversight, Carney's government will need to find ways to engage with these leaders constructively while maintaining a unified national policy framework. Carney's economic agenda focuses on reducing government spending, capping the size of the public service, and investing in critical infrastructure projects. He advocates for a balanced approach that combines environmental objectives with economic imperatives, including support for clean energy initiatives and carbon capture technologies. However, his policies have faced scrutiny from various quarters, including those who question the feasibility and impact of his proposed measures. The challenge lies in convincing both the public and political opponents that his vision for Canada is both achievable and beneficial. Pierre Poilievre, leading the Conservative opposition, continues to challenge Carney's leadership and policy decisions. Labeling the Prime Minister as carbon tax Carney, Poilievre criticizes the Liberal government's environmental policies and fiscal strategies. He argues that Carney's administration mirrors the shortcomings of the previous Trudeau government, failing to address the real concerns of Canadians. Poilievre's criticisms resonate with a segment of the population seeking change and accountability in federal governance, emphasizing the need for a government that prioritizes the interests of everyday Canadians. Despite losing his seat in the recent election, Poilievre remains a vocal critic, emphasizing the need for transparency, economic growth, and reduced government intervention. His platform includes promises to eliminate the carbon tax, reduce deficits through civil service cuts, and implement tax reforms aimed at making life more affordable for Canadians. This approach appeals to voters frustrated with rising costs and government inefficiencies, positioning Poilievre as a formidable opponent to Carney's administration. In contrast, Carney's approach emphasizes long-term economic stability and environmental sustainability. He proposes middle-class tax cuts, investments in green industries, and policies aimed at transitioning to a net-zero economy. Carney's vision involves leveraging private sector finance to accelerate the shift towards renewable energy and sustainable infrastructure, positioning Canada as a leader in the global green economy. However, the effectiveness of these policies remains to be seen, particularly in light of the criticisms surrounding their implementation. However, Carney's policies have not been without controversy. Critics point to his previous roles in international finance and question potential conflicts of interest. Concerns have been raised about his past affiliations with multinational corporations and his stance on carbon pricing, leading to debates about the transparency and integrity of his leadership. As Carney navigates these complexities, he must also contend with public expectations for ethical governance and effective policy implementation. The political landscape in Canada is further complicated by the evolving dynamics between federal and provincial governments. The assertiveness of leaders like Smith and Ford highlights the challenges Carney faces in maintaining national unity while respecting regional aspirations. Effective intergovernmental relations will be crucial in addressing the diverse needs and priorities of Canada's provinces and territories. Carney's ability to foster collaboration among these leaders will be essential for the success of his administration. As Carney navigates these complexities, his administration must also contend with public expectations for ethical governance and effective policy implementation. The appointment of Mendicino, while leveraging his experience, must be balanced against the imperative for accountability and public trust. Transparent communication and inclusive decision-making will be key in fostering confidence in Carney's leadership. The upcoming period will be critical for Carney to demonstrate his ability to manage internal party dynamics, intergovernmental relations, and public policy challenges. Canada stands at a pivotal moment, grappling with internal political shifts and evolving federal-provincial dynamics. Prime Minister Carney's decisions, including the controversial appointment of Mendicino and the assertive actions of Premiers Smith and Ford, underscore the complexities of governing a diverse and decentralized nation. The path forward requires collaboration, transparency, and a commitment to addressing the pressing issues facing Canadians today. In conclusion, the interplay between federal leadership decisions and provincial initiatives will shape Canada's political and economic trajectory. Carney's administration must strive to balance national interests with regional priorities, fostering a cohesive and resilient federation. Through inclusive governance and responsive policymaking, Canada can navigate the challenges ahead and build a prosperous future for all its citizens.